Welcome to Heartfelt with Julie Majarrison, a space for honest stories, tender truths, and soul-deep conversations. I'm your host, Julie Majarrison, and here we explore the questions that stir something real in us. Questions about joy, fear, healing, and the moments that shape who we are. Each episode is an invitation to slow down, go deeper, and hear the kind of stories that remind us we're not alone in this human experience. So wherever you are right now, thank you for being here. Let's begin. Welcome to episode 5 of Heartfelt with Julie Majarrison podcast. I have my husband here, and he is going to answer the 10 questions. So I would like to let you know a little bit about him. My husband is Russell Majarrison, and for the past 4.5 years, he has felt he's been privileged to be my husband and partner, and I'm his greatest supporter. During this time, so much has changed for him, physically, mentally, and emotionally. But the most powerful change of all has been learning to love himself again. After coming out of a difficult relationship, he had lost that love. He didn't realize how deeply it had affected him, and he feels I have helped him rediscover him. I have taught him that if you don't love yourself, it becomes incredibly hard to truly love anyone else. Thanks to me, that love has returned, and it goes stronger every day. This is a bit hard for me to be reading this when it's actually about me some of the time. He is still learning about himself, about the universe, and about the amazing things that can happen when he's given the right tools and the right support. His heart is open in a way it has never been before, and for that, he's always grateful for, because he now understands his story matters. I'm so excited that I have my husband here. He's actually in front of the camera instead of behind the camera. So, Mr. Russ Majarrison, thank you very much for being here.
You're welcome, Mrs. Julie Majarrison. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
That is good.
Russell has been so much support for me while I have opened up this door that I'd closed so many, many years ago. Well, when the door was closed, there wasn't a thing that I knew that was called podcasting. But now with this new technology and many, many years later, here I am. So I wanted Russell to be here to actually answer the questions that I will be asking some of my guests. And he's been helping me practice. So this is all on recording now. So we'll see what he's got to say. So the first question I would like to ask is, what brings you joy? Russell?
It's funny, Julie, you've asked me these questions a few times, and I think I give you a different answer every time. So for now, these are the answers, but they could change next time you ask me these questions. But what gives me joy is having our children. Like, I have 2 children and Julie has 2 children, and to see our children together, they get on really, really well. They talk, they communicate. We go off and we have lunches together. If they need help, they have no hesitation in asking us for help. Julie and I are very, very happy to help them. I've found that with Julie, she's shown me how to actually love your family more and more and more, and it's something that I probably didn't have before. So for me, my heartfelt is actually having our children and growing with our children as a family.
Yeah. I can remember before we got married July last year, and I was sitting in the lounge, and I'm often talking. Not sure if Russell's ever hearing, but I actually was saying, because we're getting married later on in life and our children are adults, it's not like we're going to have weekends where, they've got to get used to the stepchildren, so to speak, and the step parents. And I was saying to Russell, I want to have a yearly event where just the kids and the parents can have a get together. And I was saying, I don't want it to be around Christmas time or Easter time. I wanted a separate time when people haven't got so much on. And I said I want to call it something. And I couldn't think of any names, and I'm going, like how Thanksgiving's called Thanksgiving and whatever. And I was trying to put all our initials together and make up a name, and here I am yabbering on, and I'm not even sure if my husband, or he was my soon-to-be husband, was even listening. Now, my children's surname is Gia, and our surname is Majarison. And Russell comes out and he says, you know what? All we have to do is add an A, and it can be called the McGearison get together. And I'm like, oh my goodness, he was listening and he's came up with a great idea. So we had our first McGearison get together about a month ago, and it was really, really lovely because Russell's youngest son has been traveling overseas and he's home for a few months. So it got us an opportunity to just go out for lunch. So I'm so grateful for the McGearison clan get-togethers that we'll be having hopefully every year. We might have to have 2 this year because the youngest son of Russell's is off traveling again. So before he heads off again, we'll have to have another go. So thank you for coming up with that name, Russell.
Well, thank you very much.
The next question was, do you have a fear that you are aware of it holding you back?
Yes, I do. I have a fear of getting old, and I know that I'm old now, but I'm not though. Age-wise, on paper, I'm going to be 62 this year. In myself, I feel mid to late 30s. I work very, very hard. I've just finished up working for a company, but before I finished up, I would do a 10-hour day at work. And I would be lifting things and moving things that some of these younger people couldn't do, So I'm quite fit and I feel great, but I'm just scared, that my fear is that I'm going to get old, and I don't want to get old, but I know that I have to. I know that that's just the circle of life, but that's my fear is getting old, and I don't want it to happen, but I know that it has to happen. But so I guess it's a fear because it's something that you're scared of.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much for sharing about that. Have you ever had a life-changing moment?
When I was young, I used to, well, I went to Festival Hall, which is a music venue that they used to have in Brisbane. And back in those days, it was the biggest music venue in Brisbane. it would hold 4,500 people. And I remember queuing up outside of Festival Hall to get like front row tickets, so you sleep out a couple of nights before on the footpath to buy your tickets so that you're up near the front. And I went to a concert. It was Fleetwood Mac Rumours tour, and to actually be there and see these artists, these performers up there, being able to play these instruments and to be able to sing and to be able to control the crowd, and the 4,500 people there all singing the words to the song. And yeah, it was just something that you just can't take. People go to the concerts now and they hold their phones up and they record what's happening at the concert. Where I go to a concert now and I live in the moment. I enjoy what's happening, because that's it. Like we're looking at your phone the next day, it's still great, but it's, I don't know, you just miss that bit of atmosphere that you're having. So I think that really is a moment that I just look back at it and I go, that's just amazing. And I go to lots of concerts now and I love them and I enjoy watching them and being a part of what's happening at the moment.
Yeah. So I've never been really a concert goer. So Russell has certainly opened up that door for me. So I feel really blessed.
We've seen a few plays too, which is good.
Yeah.
A few
Yeah.
musicals.
We have. Yes. Has there been a moment that you wish you could freeze in time?
Well, that's funny. As I said before, I've actually had these questions given to me, and there's one that always comes to mind, and I nearly get very teary and cry when I say it. And I've said it a few times now, and then I still get teary and all that with it. But my mum passed away a couple of years ago, and we were lucky, and she passed away in her sleep. She passed away with her loved ones around her, and we all got to say goodbye and I love you to her and all that sort of stuff. So I guess if someone is going to pass away, in which we are all going to come to that, it was, she got the trifecta. She got people who love her around her. She got in her sleep, and we all got to say goodbye. So I think we were very, very lucky that that mum passed away and we had that opportunity. But going back to your question, we got a phone call saying that mum's not very well and we need to come down because she was in a nursing home. And we went down there, and my brother, my sister, and I basically slept in the room or lived in the room for about a week. So for 24 hours a day, either one of us was there in the room looking after mum, sitting there with mum. And I used to do the afternoon, early evening. So I'd get there around about 12 o'clock and I'd leave about 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And every night I'd give mum, I'd put my hand on her shoulder and give her a kiss on the head and tell her that I love her and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, and about 3 o'clock in the morning, my sister took over from me. And about 3 o'clock in the morning, my sister rang me up and said, mum's gone. See, here we go. And I think, for the question, that moment of me putting my hand on her shoulder and telling her I love her, that's the moment that I think it's just, it's so vivid in my brain, and I see it all the time.
So that was your life-changing moment?
Yep.
No, that was your freezing time.
Yeah, that's my freezing time. Yes.
Yeah, life-changing moment was Fleetwood Mac.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have a trigger that you would like to share about? I feel like I'm going to be in this part.
Yes, don't tell my wife, but yeah, again, it's my trigger. So when people ask me to do things, or I give somebody an answer, and this is everyone in general. So not just my wife, but people say to me, "Oh, have you done this?" And I say, "Well, no, I haven't. I'll get to it." Well, have you done it? Well, no, I'll get to it. Like it's going to get done. Or, well, tell me more. Well, I don't know anymore. That's it. This is all I've got. So people are asking me the questions now. They're asking me the questions because they want an answer, and I understand that. But my trigger, which is what this question is about, I get really upset with it. I get really cranky and annoyed, and I start panicking, and I feel that I'm in trouble, and I feel nervous, and I feel scared that somebody's basically telling me off or trying to be like the headmaster going and but they're not. It's my trigger, and that's how I feel that it's happening. So as for trigger is when people start questioning me, and again, like I said, darling, it's not the people asking me the question, it's me with the trigger.
Well said. Very diplomatically well said. If a genie jumped out of a bottle and granted you one wish, what would that be?
Buy shares in Bitcoin. No. Okay, a real one.
That gives me shivers.
Yeah, it's a I wish that I find everybody is equal or the same. I don't have. I mean, I do have bias because everyone has bias, but I don't feel that I'm. I don't know. I love everyone and I respect everyone regardless. And diversity is part of the world. It's people go and eat and drink, and religion and the way they do things is it's completely up to them. And but what I see is wrong, it's not wrong because in their life that's what it is. So I think if the genie could just give me one wish, I think that I would want everyone to see that everyone is equal and everyone is the same, and that no one is one better than another. That we're all one in this universe, and maybe if we were all like that, then the universe would probably be in a better state of mind than what it is now.
Wow. That was a very, very deep answer. Thank you, Russell, for sharing that.
Thank you.
What is something you've never said out loud, but you wish someone would ask you about?
Well, again, I think it'll go back to my mum. Like I said, it's only been a couple of years since she passed, so it's still very fresh in my mind. And I'm a very loving, soft, respecting sort of person, and I always thought that when my mum passed, that I would be devastated and that I'd be crying mess for a month or two or something like that. But I've never cried. Like I have little 30 seconds, 20 seconds sometimes of just little things like when I talk about it, like before, I get a bit emotional, but I think I'd probably like someone to ask me, why haven't you cried for your mum? I don't have an answer for them, but I think that would be a nice question for someone to ask me, like, you know, did you cry when your mum died, or why didn't you cry when your mum died? And maybe it'd be a nice one to be asked, and maybe that person could help me solve the issue, because it does make me think about why I didn't cry. So yeah, that would be it.
Wow. That's
You're learning a lot today, aren't you?
I am. Maybe that's something I should ask you.
Yes.
Okay. When was the last time you truly felt seen? And what was it about that moment that has stayed with you?
that's the easiest one, and there's all these questions to answer. Julie Majerison.
Mhm.
It's the day I married my beautiful wife, Julie Majerison. We got married on the beach. The 1 day marriage ended up being like about a 5 day event. We got there on the Thursday. Um, most people arrived. There was 40 people, 40 guests. Most of them, I think 36 of them were there Friday afternoon, Friday night. So we had like a big dinner with everyone. We got married at 11 o'clock in the morning. We then had our wedding reception where there was 40 people there that were my friends, were my children, were Julie's friends and Julie's children. And we just, it just clicked. It was, I could be myself. We had so much fun. We then had the next day, and I'm going to say about 30 people were still there on the Sunday, and then on Monday everyone started to leave. So it was like nearly a 5 day wedding, of having all the people in this world. Like I don't know about other people, but I know myself. I don't think I looked at my phone. People carry their phones with them, and this is what I don't understand is if you're having dinner with a group of 6 people in a restaurant and they're your friends, why do you have to look at your phone when you, again, it goes back to the moment. Enjoy the moment with your friends, you know. Don't look at your phone, seeing if you're getting messages or stuff like that, you know. Enjoy the time you're at. So at my wedding, I don't think I looked at, on those 5 days, I don't think I looked at my phone. And if I did, it was only to take a photo of people or events. But yeah, that day or that weekend was just incredible. And the people I loved were there. The event was amazing. The person I love, I got to marry. And one of the bits right at the end is after we got married, it was a little bit cloudy, but the sun came out. We got married, and the dolphins were like swimming in the ocean behind us. It just made it incredible. And there's an island called Old Woman Island behind us on the beach, and I said to Julie, I said, yeah, I want to get married on the beach and I want Old Woman Island in the background. And that's what happened. So yeah, it was a 5 day event with people I love. And yeah, that was probably the best time I've had and the most memorable time I've had for years.
I agree.
I'm
I
glad
can
you agree.
I concur. Concur is a word that Russell introduced me to, and I never ever even knew what it meant. So it's very much a word I should use then. So I concur. Wow. Isn't it lovely just to have this time to feel into rather than just keep doing? If you could send one message back to your younger self, not advice, just a message, what would that be?
Again, buy Bitcoin. No, I think I'm really, well, I'm still pretty good. But I was really good at maths when I was at school. You know, I was so good at maths, and I remember I got 2 young boys. Well, they're not young boys anymore; they're grown ups. But my 2 boys, I would give them a calculator, and they would be saying 27 multiplied by 10 divided by 8, and I would give the answer as quick as what they could actually type it into the calculator. And so I then went in my high school days, I did advanced maths. You know, we learn about algebra and matrices and stuff like this. And you know, I think that's what made me stop school because it was very, very, very tough. And I left school and I was cool and I wanted to go out and be the cool guy and not the school guy and all that sort of stuff. And I feel that if I could tell my younger self that getting an education and learning is it's a good thing, you know, like it's don't ruin your life by not doing. I know school's not for everyone, and I understand that. And I know that a lot of people leave school because it doesn't work for them, you know, in their minds. But if, you know, if there's just a little bit of hope there, then maybe do some education. You know, like my youngest son, who Julie said before, has just come back from overseas. You know, he's a secondary teacher. He does maths and science. You know, Julie's son is a maths and a geography teacher, but he also does manual arts. You know, and I just think to myself, you know, I should have just maybe done a little bit more on myself and my brain. And my wife and I have stopped watching TV a lot at night, and we sit down and we do crosswords now. And I'm finding it very, very easy, but then very, very hard. You know, there's questions there that we don't know what we're, you know, we have to cheat and look at Google. But I'm finding it really enjoyable doing that. And I've just almost finished doing support work, and it's so nice to actually be back there studying and learning and everything like that. So you're never too old to learn new things.
Very
So
well.
the answer to your question is I tell myself to do a bit more study and learn.
Very good. Thank you for sharing that insightful story. Okay, this is a question that you can interpret whichever way works for you, but what does healing look like for you right now?
What does healing look like for me right now? I guess a lot of us have been in relationships that aren't good. You know, we love the person at the time, and we don't realize what they're doing to us in the back end. You know, like where this is, the way they treat you and all that sort of stuff is not you know, your friends tell you that what they're doing is wrong, but you don't see it, you know, because you love that person. And then it's when that relationship is over, you actually see what that person has made of you, or you have become because of that person. And then you then find another relationship with someone, and it's completely different because that person treats you like you want to be treated, and the way that you want to treat them. So for me, I'm learning and I'm healing what my past experiences are with my new relationship now. And it's and I don't get it right. I sometimes get angry or cranky, or I get quiet because of, you know, being asked questions about, you know, how I feel, or what am I feeling, or what am I doing, because I've never had anyone that loves me and cares for me and wants to know, you know, or, you know, do you need any more money and stuff like that. Like, you know, people go, well, they're great questions. Why did it annoy you? But it annoys me because in my last relationship, you know, these were all negatives, and this relationship, those questions are done with love. So for me, the healing, or how I'm feeling, is that I'm learning and I'm healing myself of past experiences and moving forward. Does that answer the question?
I just want to make a statement that I did not pay for Russell to say any of these words. It's like I've paid you to say all this. This is so beautifully said. I have to admit, you know, Russell and I have been on a very turbulent healing relationship journey, and after each chaos certainly comes beautiful growth. And I feel like we are becoming ourselves more and more, and that is really showing up in our relationship. So they were beautiful words, and I've heard the old saying, "Don't try and change them." Well, I'm so grateful that my husband is happy to look at change and to start to feel into feelings, because initially he thought it was just a big crock of beep. But now he's actually can see the beauty that comes out of it. So
Yes. The
that's my
universe,
disclaimer.
the universe has changed me. I was not much of a universe person, but Julie has asked for a few things in life, and I just don't understand. But next thing you know, it happens, and I don't know how, why. And I say to Julie, "How did what?" And she just goes, "It's the universe. The universe is providing, and that's what makes it happen." And so I'm still a little bit funny about it, but I'm starting to come around.
A bit of a skeptic, I think that word is,
Well,
but
that's the word, yes.
he's getting less
But
of a
I'm coming
skeptic.
around, Julie.
You are, you are. Wow. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate you giving up your time and being so honest and raw and real. Wow. That's what my podcast is all about. So, if you would have asked me if I could have spoken to you 4 years ago like this,
No.
it wouldn't have been honest, real, and raw. So, thank you very, very much. Thank you all for sharing this moment with us. I hope something in this conversation stays with you, opens up something in you, and simply makes you feel seen. If this episode has moved you, feel free to share it with someone who might need it too. And if you like to continue the journey with us, be sure to subscribe and stay connected. Until next time, take care of your heart and remember, your story matters.